Hey, what's up YouTube? It's me, Shiekrunner. Welcome back to another one of my videos. In today's video, I want to talk to you about Donkey Kong 94 and how to save roughly a second in the all stages category during speedruns. This isn't an easy time save. This is an advanced strategy that not only requires you to do the movement correctly, but in order to find this strat to begin with, you kinda need to understand like how this game works. Like more than what is just displayed on the surface. And that is what this video today is about. I want to explain how I found a 1 second time save and a little bit about like how this game works in general besides the 1 second time save, because I think it's important for you to understand like more than just the trick that I'm about to show, but also like why, for example, we reset the game halfway through a world even though that loses time. And with all of that said, if you watch on the screen, you will see a calculator. I will use this to do some math to demonstrate that this will actually save some time. And on the right side under my cam there is the RAM watch from BizHawk that I use to keep track of some RAM addresses from this game. And for this trick specifically, the only thing that is really important is this RAM address, time until next timer tick. This is how the in-game timer works in Donkey Kong 94. On a stage there is a timer that counts down from like a specific time when you enter the stage to 0 and then you time out. The time that you will have for each stage varies from stage to stage. Sometimes you have a total time of 100, sometimes you have a total time of 300. And so it's quite interesting how this like timer works, and I'm going to explain that as we go. And let's just jump into that, I guess. So for that I'm just gonna jump into 1-1, and before I jump into 1-1 actually, I'm gonna do a hard reset. So for right now you see that the RNG value is at 25 and the value of the time until next timer tick is 0. That is because we were never in the stage before like since I reset the console, like since I hard reset the console, like I turned it off and turned it back on. That kind of like gets rid of like the RNG value, like it resets the RNG value, and it also resets the time until next timer tick. So, and as soon as I jump in the stage, the time until next timer tick will start to move. And there is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 13, 14, and then it starts at 0 again. So there's like 15 like values basically it goes through. And each timer tick is 4 frames. So, and this game runs at 60 FPS. That means 15 times 4 is obviously 60. So that makes the in-game, 1 in-game second when it starts from the value 0 is 1 real second basically. And 1 timer tick is 4 frames. And that is important to know for like how we save time, like how we save that 1 second of time save. So now I'm just gonna jump into the stage, and you will see that that this value will start to count up. And whenever it gets to 0 again, like it will go 1 digit lower, as you can see from this example here. So, and the fun thing here, and this is why we're gonna hard reset, is that whenever you beat a stage, so I'm just gonna, I'm just gonna do this, not the speedrun way, because my hands aren't really warmed up. So I wanna make sure that we get like a mid-range value here, or like 11 is fine. So 11, 12, 13, 14, and then 0 again. So we finish a stage, but the time until next timer tick doesn't reset from one stage to another. That means that when I go into the next stage, the first second will count down much faster than what a real second is, because there's only 4 timer ticks. So in reality it counted down 4 times 4 4 times 4 and then through 60. Like the first second took like 0.26 seconds when we entered 1 2 here on this example. So, and the next thing that you need to know is that when you enter, like when you finish a stage, so I finished this stage here real quick, so I'm gonna save state here. So after you finish a stage, your time is being counted down. As you can see, like that was really quick, and the reason that was really quick was that each, like, so the way that the game counts down the seconds is that it first goes with the ones, then the tens, and then the hundreds. And each tick is 4 frames. So if there are 9 ones, it has to count down 36 additional frames, which is I think roughly like 0.6, as you can see. So since I save stated here, you will see that now that it is 109, until like the stage is finished, like it takes a lot longer, 36 frames longer. So now I finish it with 110 here again, and you will see that this will go much quicker now. So if I wait here 109, I lose 36 frames basically, which is 0.6 seconds. So, and there is a special case in 4-5 where we can actually slow ourselves down to make the timer be more set up for the next stage to avoid a 0.6 second time loss. But I will explain that more in just a moment. Now I'm just gonna hard reset here, and then you will see that everything resets. Like the time on the next timer will reset, the RNG value will reset, and then I'm gonna explain a little bit about the RNG value. So here I'm gonna hard reset, like I turn off the console and turn it back on. So as you can see, the time until next timer tick is gone, and you saw that the RNG value went crazy. And that is because when you start up the game, in the brick destruction animation here, the RNG is actually determined, and where you like cancel it gives you like a different like RNG seed, a different RNG value. So if you just hold A, you get the first one, which equates to a 15. If you wait until it's done, you get a 91. And if you do it in between, if you do it perfectly, you can get always the same, but realistically, as a human, you won't. So, but that is not the only time that RNG is being altered. Like when you are on a stage, there are a lot of things that can alter the RNG value. So you need to be aware of that whenever you manipulate RNG, and whenever you kind of try to like set up a scenario where you save the most time. Like how can you control the RNG value? And sometimes it's very finicky because there are some things that we cannot control as much as other things, and they're harder to get as consistent as other things. So the reason we hard reset here for this display is that when we are in a run, let's imagine we're in 4-1, and now we beat 4-2, we beat 4-3, 4-4, and then there is like this this text box that says, do you wanna save? And after that, what we do in a run, we do a hard reset instead of going straight up into 4-5. The reason for that is we need to manipulate the RNG, and the hard reset roughly takes around like 4.5 seconds, and the time that we save from doing the RNG manipulation on average is just so much more than the 4.5 seconds that we lose from hard resetting. While it would be really cool to also save that 4.5 seconds, as of right now we haven't found a reliable way to save that, like to save even more than what we currently do by like hard resetting. Like hard resetting currently is what is currently the best strat. And I'm sure that in the future we may find something different, but from now that's the case. Because 4-5 to 4-12, which is the rest of World 4, is really difficult to manipulate because there are lots of scenarios that I talked that as of right now we have a hard time controlling. So with all of that said, I'm doing another hard reset here because like the value is messed up. It's not the value that I need. I need the value of 15, and now I go into 4-5, and as you can say, and as you can see, the time until next timer tick is 0, and the RNG value is 15. So now I'm going to beat this next stage as quickly as I possibly can. And then you will see in the end what time until next timer tick I will have. So this will probably be like a 12. Oh, actually it was a 1. So now this was actually optimal for the trick that I am like how to save time on the next stage like a second. And that is because now when we go into the next stage we have like almost a whole second more on the in-game timer that we would previously, like if we had beaten this like earlier, the in-game second would have immediately went one digit lower, which would result in a lower time, and that lower time would lose us more time because of the amount of more digits that need to be counted. So, but like I said, I wanted to really showcase what it would be like if I do the stage really fast. I did it a little bit slower, like this is how you would do the stage if you wanna save that second. But if you really try to min-max the stage, you can do the stage slightly faster, but in as a whole you will lose more time doing the stage slightly faster than if you do the stage slightly slower, do it to the next stage time save because of the in-game timer. So, and I will showcase it here. So this stage is not an easy stage, so might take a few attempts. I missed the key, but other than that it was decent. That happens sometimes to me, that also. That should be enough. Why was it that bad? Like when I really try to min-max it, I usually get it. That should definitely be enough. See, now we have a value of 11. So that means that when I go into the next stage, that the timer, like the first digit, will get counted down in, well, there are 4 values left, that means 4 and then divided through 60, so the first digit will go away in like 0.3 seconds basically. When I go into the next stage, and you will see that. You will see that the in-game timer, like watch up here, will, like the first digit will go down super quick, as you can see. So what that leads to is as follows. So I'm gonna do the stage now with the shitty in-game time that we have here. So I got a 178. So if I had gotten a 180, that would have meant that the game had to count like 8 less ones, and that would save us 32 frames. So if I had done this optimally, I would have gotten a 179 with this sort of setup, and I can demonstrate that. Like I'm gonna do this optimally here now. It might take me some tries because it's not actually that easy. Like I said, it's not an easy time to save. And now I'm even gonna do this trick, because this trick is... So I did this optimally now and I got a 179, and I almost, like, if I had been like 12 frames slower, I would have gotten 178 here, and I optimized it. So what the idea is that you wanna do the 4-5 in just the correct amount of time, that you have a good timer so that you can get a 180 here, and that ultimately saves you more time. And with the implementation of that backflip and the key pickup that I did in the last attempt there, we save roughly like a second of time, because the key pickup onto that platform was previously not implemented, which saves like roughly 0.55 seconds. And then because there is like 9 digits less that need to be counted, we save 36 frames, which is 0.6 seconds, which are 1.1 seconds, and then we have to minus the time that we purposefully waited on 4-5 to have the timer line up. And previously, like if you remember, like we got a value of 11, and we want to have at least a value of 0 or 1 for when we... So we wanted to do that stage at least 12, at least, yeah, 12 frames slower. No, 16 frames slower, which is, as we all know, is 0.266 seconds. So that means that optimally we would have saved 0.834 seconds by doing this, and realistically you're not always gonna wait the perfect amount of time. That means that sometimes you will lose another 4 frames because you were like, you got, well, like, so realistically we save like 0.7 to 0.8 seconds, because you can be like 4 to 8 frames slower if you do it really wrong, but that basically 0.7 to 0.8 seconds. And now I'm gonna demonstrate the time save here, how this is actually supposed to look like. So we go in 4-5, we reset the game like how we would do it in a run. Then we jump into the game, and we purposely do this stage a little bit slower than we can do it, just to get the right time for the next stage. So that means I slow down here a little bit. So I slowed down purposely a little bit, and I got perfectly a 0. This is frame perfect. This is how you want to have this is maximum time save. Could be that I might be like 1 or 2 frames off, but that's nothing of our concern. And now you want to do the stage exactly the way that we previously done it. And I will save state it here, so I don't mess anything up, because this is definitely a challenging trick, and I definitely need to practice this. So, but now that we have that much more time, we can actually get a 180 here. And this is like the hardest part. And this trick here saves 0.55 seconds. If I could get it. This is a little bit finicky because you have to throw it a little bit earlier, and then yeah, that like that. And now we get a 180. So we didn't do it perfectly. Like I could have been there like 16 frames faster or so, but that way it had to count 36 frames less, or like 9 digits less, which equates to like 36 frames, and that's ultimately how you save roughly like 0.8 seconds on that stage, or like in this segment. And that's like not the obvious time save, like just by doing better movement besides the mid-air key grab. But that's basically how you can save some time in Donkey Kong, which isn't as obvious to some of the other time saves. And yeah, and if you feel like why you made like this 20-minute video on like this 0.8 second time save, like this game, unfortunately, like I guess it's kind of like a hate-love relationship. Like the time that you can actually save generally is just milliseconds at this point. Like, I consider like a 0.3 second time save to be a huge time save. Because like most of this game is cutscenes, and if you find like a cutscene script, that would be great. But you can also, like, 0.8 seconds is already at the high end of time save. And if there's a time save that saves you like 2 seconds, like, whoa, 2 seconds, dude! But yeah, that's basically the video. I hope you understand most of what I was saying. It's kind of hard to explain, um, but I hope I made it at least somewhat comprehensible. It's not that complicated, it just sounds complicated. But anyways, thank you guys for watching. I know there has not been any WoW content, and there won't be any WoW content anytime soon, but that's just the way that the life goes. And I will see you guys at another time. Again, see ya, bye.